which by the
Okay.
way, he's 100. Good on him.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. Yes.
Good
That
on
was
him.
that was a couple of days ago, wasn't it? He was
Yeah.
100.
Yeah. I was like, wow. I mean, he's got some good genes in his family.
Mm.
I have to say, listen, my sister watches a lot of British, Australian, and other things because on what she has one station which is public broadcasting station. They call this PBS,
Okay.
which we have in Canada, but also because they come from America. Okay.
Mm.
And the one that she gets has a lot of these things more than the one mine does, because hers comes from a sort of New Yorkish area, mine comes from Vermont. And
Okay.
sometimes they have the same series and sometimes they don't, but they have a lot of Australian series, British series, and this is public broadcasting, so it's paid for by donors. They get a license and whatever, but it's not like a standard television station in America,
Right.
whatever, okay?
Yeah.
Anyway, what I love is because they do have a ton of things on there that are British. So, but she gets more of them than I do. So I'm like, sometimes I'm like, I wish I could watch all these things like Death in Paradise and, you know,
Yes, that's
uh,
really good.
all kinds of stuff, like all
Yeah.
kinds of series, right?
Call the
Like
Midwife is
Father
really good.
Brown,
Father Brown, yeah.
like Call the Midwife. We get some of that.
Yeah.
Okay. I still get some of that. But then there's all kinds of movies and things that I just would never see, right? And a
Okay.
lot of BBC things that you say that you see, like, oh, I was watching the BBC series, but you guys have tons of that. And I just don't get to see that. I mean, I probably have to go add BBC to my, there are probably three BBC stations I could get, but they'll
Mm.
all cost me extra money. So I have to find
Yeah.
three stations I don't want and add the three BBC stations.
Yeah.
And then I probably
Mm.
still wouldn't get all the same series that you got because they're not exported as, exported
Mm.
material, if you will.
Well, I think because we pay a TV license, which is BBC,
Yeah.
and then we get what they call free view,
Yes.
um, those aren't exported, if that makes sense, because we pay for it under our TV license.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I don't know. So,
See, like I can get BBC World News. I
okay.
can get BBC News. I
Hmm.
can get BBC Canada. Okay.
Right. Oh, really?
Yeah. So the difference is some BBC Canada will
Um,
not, and I mean, I'm sure there's BBC Kids and there's, there's all kinds of stuff, right?
CBBC. CBBS, which is the children's
CBB,
one.
is that what it is?
CBB, CBBC.
Yeah,
So it's children's
CBBC.
BBC.
Okay.
Yeah, but
So, I mean, there's also BBC Earth that has all of the, like David Attenborough, like you could watch
yeah,
him forever on end, which by the
okay.
way, he's 100. Good on him.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. Yes.
Good
That
on
was
him.
that was a couple of days ago, wasn't it? He was
Yeah.
100.
Yeah. I was like, wow. I mean, he's got some good genes in his family.
Mm. He's had a good life though. What he's done is amazing.
I was gonna say, I think he was probably quite elite in his in his upbringing, I would imagine.
I don't know.
Let's find out. What do we think we know about him?
He's got a brother, and I can't remember his brother's
Yeah,
name.
well, who I loved because he was the actor. The brother was the one
Yeah.
who was in Jurassic Park.
Oh, was it? I've never watched that film.
Oh, I love that movie. Love
Really, it
that
didn't
movie.
appeal to me at all because it's just
Now,
not
again, Jurassic Park was a book.
okay.
Never read the book. I saw the
Mm.
movie and I enjoyed it. I can imagine what the book must be like.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I didn't. It didn't attract me as something I'd like to watch. So I've just
I
never watched
liked it
it.
because I also like Sam Neill. It's not Sam Neill. Yeah, Sam Neill, who I believe is a Kiwi. I don't believe he's
Okay. I
an
don't know. I
Aussie.
never heard of
I
him.
think he's a Kiwi. I enjoy him as an actor. Okay,
Right.
David Attenborough has his brother's name was Richard.
Richard. That's what I
Richard
just had in my
Attenborough.
head.
Okay.
Richard, yeah.
And Richard was the actor, director, producer. He worked, I think he was in Gandhi too, if I'm not mistaken. Like
Okay.
he did some phenomenal movies.
I did see Gandhi. That was good. I
Yeah,
did
I
watch
mean,
that.
I thought he was in some great movies. I mean, he was in
Yeah.
Jurassic Park. I loved it. He was in Gandhi. They did A Miracle on 34th Street, which was a remake. He
Okay.
played the Santa Claus in that, which I thought was
Mhm.
love. I thought he was great in that.
Mhm.
Um, he was in The Great Escape. Uh,
Okay. Yes.
he was in A Bridge Too Far.
Not
Uh,
watched that
he was
one.
in The Flight of the Phoenix.
No.
Um, I think he was, phenomenal. The brother was David was always more of a producer, I believe.
David's the one that's lived to 100, isn't it?
Yes, David is the one who's lived to a
He did
hundred.
all the nature ones. He did all the ones
Yes,
out in nature.
he is known
Hmm.
for he like I said, he was more of um
Documentaries.
yeah, he was educated in Wigston Grammar School for Boys in Leicester.
Okay. So
Uh,
that would have been just a common a grammar school. So he would have passed his 11 plus at
correct.
11 years old to get to
Okay,
the grammar
correct.
school.
Okay.
So he's quite clever.
Quite clever. So there was three sons, I guess.
Okay. And was Rich David the youngest?
I let's find out.
Because the other two must be gone by now then.
Yeah, they are. Okay. There was Richard, David, and John.
Okay.
Okay. So
John was young.
Richard was the oldest.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
the actor, director, producer.
Yeah.
Okay. Born in 1923.
Okay.
Then there's David, who's born in 26, who's now 100.
Yeah.
He's a broadcaster, a naturalist, and a writer.
Yeah. There we
And then
go.
there's the younger one, John, who was born in 28, who is the motor executive and the financial advisor.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Now,
Yes.
David joined the BBC in 1950,
Mm-hmm.
and he's revolutionized wildlife broadcasting.
Yes.
Like he's the one who
Absolutely.
does all the planet Earth and all that
Mhm.
kind of stuff.
Yes.
Right.
Mm.
Um, They were all raised together in College House on the campus of the University of Leicester, where their
Okay.
father was principal.
Right. Because Leicester has
They
got
were
a
three
university.
highly accomplished siblings,
Yeah.
born to Frederick and Mary Attenborough. It's interesting because David is a Sir David, but Richard was Lord Richard because
Okay.
I guess, the eldest, and that means to me that the father had a title that got passed to Richard.
Not
Is that possible?
necessarily.
If you're a lord, if you're a sir, it means you're knighted, correct?
Yes. But I think you can also be given a title more so in the honours list. I would have thought,
Okay,
I don't know, you'd have to look up whether he got it in the honours list or
let's find out. Yeah, yeah,
whether
yeah,
it was an
yeah.
inherited title or whether it was one that was given him in the honours list. So what is David? You said David is a sir. Yeah.
Is Sir David.
Yeah.
Uh, okay, so Richard has two titles. He was granted a knighthood for his
Yeah.
outstanding service to British film, which
Right.
gave him the title of Sir. And
Yeah.
then in 1993, he was granted a life peerage by Queen Elizabeth,
Yeah.
which elevated him to the House of Lords
Sure.
and gave him the title of Lord Attenborough, Baron Attenborough of Richard upon Thames.
Yeah. So again, it was something that was given to him in the
It was a
honors list.
peerage. It was not from his father. I kind of thought maybe his father got some kind of peerage, and then
But
his father
no.
being because he is the oldest, so that would make sense that he would gain his father's peerage if he had it, right?
But some are sort of just lifetime peerages like that
Yeah.
one, or
Yeah.
some are that ones that have been inherited.
Yes.
But that
Yeah.
it's a funny system.
It
Funny.
really is.
I've
Well,
always
I don't
been,
even know if they still give them, right?
yeah, they do.
Yeah. Okay.
They do give them places. But this is something that's a contention at the moment where they the prime minister of the day, or when the prime minister is leaving their post, they can then grant peerages to their cronies, which they can then sit in the House of Lords.
Yeah.
Um, and this has become for me a bone of contention because I don't mind the House of Lords because it is a bit of a balance for the House of Commons. But now you've got people in, I mean, Boris Johnson gave a Russian a peerage to sit in the House of Lords. That's crazy.
Listen,
Crazy.
this is ridiculous. Exactly. So first of all, I mean, I think the only way they should have come was from king or queen, right?
Mm,
And I
yeah,
think that's the origin of it. So, there should be no Boris Johnson giving anything. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
that to me is like that's not proper.
But each prime minister, as they left office, have the right to give out or
Right.
nominate
To me,
certain
I think
people.
that is wrong. Like
Crazy. Yeah,
because to me the peerage came with land. That's why you were a
a
lord or
queen.
a baron or a this or a that because then you had land and
Yeah.
then people lived on that land. You were
Well, if you go back far enough, the
yeah.
land was stolen from somebody else. And
Well,
if
of
you go
course it
back,
was. But the
you
point
know,
is the guy who stole the land the
had
guy
the
who stole the land farmed it and let other people live there and gave them a life.
if you go back to 1066 Battle of Hastings,
Yeah.
and then after that, I can't remember, William the First or William the
Yeah.
Conqueror did the Doomsday Book,
Yeah.
and in that they listed every single person, parcel of land, animal within the country or
Yeah.
within the area that he'd
Yeah.
now was king of.
Yeah.
And there were freemen who owned the land, that farmed the land. They were freemen of the land.
Yeah.
20 years later, they did another survey of the same land. And in the second one, the people that had been freemen were now tenants to French overlords,
Yeah.
and they had to pay a tithe to the French overlord. So
Yeah.
they'd taken the land
Yeah.
from the peasants who
Yeah.
owned the land in the beginning.
Yeah. Well, listen, I think that's European history, right? So
Hmm.
UK, France did that, Germany had that, Italy had that. Okay. They all sort of took some land,
Hmm.
farmed it, took care of it, created some kind of fiefdom, created
Yeah.
some kind of whatever, and
Yeah. I mean, then if you go to Henry VIII,
yeah.
1500s, he took all of the church land,
Right.
the monasteries,
Yeah.
and then he handed that over to his cronies,
Right.
you
Exactly.
know.
That's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, they all kind of did it in all those countries. So
I don't
Italy
know.
was like that too. Though the really rich are not because, whatever. Somebody grabbed some
They
land
stole the
somewhere
land.
and
Yeah.
made themselves rich.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. I mean, this land that I own here now and the woodland behind me, and then part of this farm goes, I bought it from a farm across the other side of the motorway, so quite a way. In the 1970s,
Yeah.
it belonged to the church, and then it was sold off from the church.
Yeah.
So the farm Manor Farm was sold off. But
Yeah.
prior to that, all this land around here belonged to the church, and it, the church is really rich in
Yeah.
land. And people leave their land. Historically, people left their land to the church. I
Yeah.
mean, there's a field up in the middle of Brinkworth village,
Yeah.
the glebe field, and the person who owned it left it to the church, and it's right in the middle of the village. It would make a perfect place for the village to hold stuff, but the church won't let the village have it.
Well, but let's not forget that also the church in its own right took land,
Oh, absolutely.
right? So for
Yeah.
example, I mean, you know, everything starts from a tribal warlord or a religious leader
Mm,
who claims some kind of authority, right?
okay. Yeah.
Kind of
Yeah.
divine authority or whatever. And
Mm,
so a system of peerage kind of starts
yeah.
and it really develops because whoever all these people are, kings and barons and whatever, and all the nobles
Mm,
who claim themselves to be noble start
yeah.
taking more land and trading land and giving and taking land and so
Yeah.
it all starts from there, really, I think.
There's also like the Magna Carta in the 12th century, 1200s, where the nobles were fed up of King John wanting money from them,
Yeah,
and they got him to sit down and they wrote the Magna Carta.
yeah,
And and that's what King Charles said in his speech about the Magna Carta when he was
yeah.
in America. Did you see his speech?
Yeah, I did. I thought it was really good.
Oh, he's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, and it just shows this sort of what the monarchy represents, really,
Well,
doesn't it?
this is why I thought it was actually kind of funny. Just, I thought it was a bit of a, you could have been here today, but you're not because you decided you didn't want us. Look
Yes,
where you are today.
I know. But also, he actually said,
250 years ago, you took a left turn. Big
I
mistake.
mean, yeah, yeah. And what Trump had said about if it hadn't have been for Americans in the Second World War, Europe would be speaking German.
Yeah,
And then Charles said, if it hadn't have been for the British, you'd be speaking French.
that's right. Absolutely.
We had
Who
a
wrote the
local,
Magna Carta? Was it King John who wrote it?
it was his um knights, his people that owned the land
Yeah,
that
okay.
got together and put together this document that they made King John sign.
Oh, he signed it. Right, right,
He signed it, but he
right.
didn't write it. They wrote it to
Yeah.
give them, because he was trying to take stuff from them and they wanted to protect their own.
Right. He was doing some kind of arbitrary
He just
rules,
wanted
let's
money from
call it.
them. He kept saying, I'm the king, you got to give me money.
Yeah,
And
I'm
then
the king, just do whatever I say and shut up.
they,
Basically.
absolutely.
Right.
And then they said, no.
No, I had enough of this, and you're
Yeah,
going to be under law like we're under law,
yeah. But
basically.
even then, that was 1200. So it wasn't until
I
really
think it
the,
was 1215 is my understanding,
yeah,
but
yeah. But it wasn't until, I mean, Henry VIII was real the king in everything, wasn't he? But
mhm.
subsequent to that, the monarchy lost more and more of its power, especially when which one was it? Was it James Charles the First that was beheaded, wasn't he? By Oliver Cromwell.
Yeah, I believe the Magna Carta is the model for, well, like
Yeah,
whatever documents, whatever, at the end of the day,
yeah,
right?
yeah. The way things are run. Yeah.
I think
And,
it,
and
it
in
is the
America.
model for our Canadian Charter of Freedom and Rights.
Yeah. Yeah. Because like King Charles said about it in,
Yeah,
everything goes back to the Magna Carta.
yeah.
So, and I hadn't really realized that, but I suppose it is logical because it was British, the US was British. Well,
Well, the U.S.
first being,
Constitution apparently takes bits and pieces from the
yeah,
Magna Carta, but
yeah,
then, expounds on their independence, right? I guess,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, and there was only
I don't think the
13
Magna
states.
Carta said you can carry guns.
No, they weren't around at that time, were they? Got the right to bear arms. Yeah,
Exactly.
right.